the adrenaline faded away, Jin's body started to creak and groan. He winced. The concrete was freezing cold, but it felt like he was burning up. A sickly sweat that coated his skin and suffocated him. Torture, is it? Zala snickered and took a big gulp of liquid. Answer me! He slapped the drink away. It clattered onto the concrete, seeping green mush all over the floor. Now I know why you're called Kirigari. Hinode is the sunrise, and you're the darkness that descends on them. You know me? But your mother wanted to call you Jin. My name is Jin. It means tenderness. Means gold to Wei Wei, but he didn't want to call you that. How revealing. A naughty glimpse into your family dynamic. What's your point? Funny. To me it means truth or jewel. Kirigari suits you better. Jin chewed the inside off his cheek. Never stood up to Wei Wei though. Never protected you. Wasn't she so sweet? Pity she's dead. The words bit into his bones and made him tremble with anxiety, fear, and rage. Doesn't that make you mad? An eyebrow raised, but her stare remained blank. Are you unconscious with your eyes open? That's creepy. He blinked and tilted his head. Oh, there you are. Are you enjoying this? Zala squashed her smile and stood up. Although she did not answer, her eyes said it all. The confirmation made him feel like dirt. Don't you look down on me. I imagine a lot of people look down on you, but it's not your height that's to blame. Unconsciously, he went on his tiptoes. Oh, I'm so scared. She scoffed and shoved him. Do you have any idea who Hinode Wei is? He held his ground. I don't think he would like this. What about you? Huh? Do you like this? No. Then worry more about yourself. She ran a hand through her hair. Are you here to take me to Hinode Wei? Wei Wei is all you ever talk about. Why don't we talk about me? Do you recognize me from somewhere? No. Then what makes you think you have a choice where you go? Don't you realize right now? Her eyes flashed. You're in danger. From who? Me. A downturn in Zala's mouth was the only indication that something had changed. Suddenly she was moving towards him. What's wrong? He was stuck in a fixed gaze, eyes wide, slack-jawed. You're not very good at this. She poked his cheek and snickered. Jin threw the punch, but it was caught before he had time to properly clench his fist. The momentum was used against him. With one flick of the wrist, he was spun backwards onto the bonnet. He flinched as his back was targeted for a second time. Correction. You're terrible. She licked her lips, but it looked more like she was sticking her tongue out. Too slow, and you exposed yourself. To a counter-move. I think you're enjoying this too much, and I must say, it's not very professional. She seemed perplexed. What kind of victim gives their kidnappers pointers? What kind of kidnapper gives their victim pointers? His head was spinning at the change of pace. Who do you work for? Really? Who in their right mind would answer that question honestly? She grabbed his ankles and pushed them into his tummy, putting all her weight onto him, especially when they have the upper hand. Within seconds, Jin's arms were pinned. The weight on his legs and tummy paled in comparison to the pressure on his back. He squeaked. From this position, can you throw me off? Ow! Be gentle. Your situational awareness is horrible. Why would I be gentle with you? Are you my lover? She hovered over his lips and smirked. I know, you're my landlord, right? No? Best friend? His nostrils flared. He gritted his teeth. I don't imagine you have any. You're angry. She shifted positions, yanking at his legs and pulling at his wrists. So why don't I feel that in your knobbly knees or your jelly arms? Jin pushed back, but ended up falling forward as Zala dodged him. Flailing through the air, he waved his arms, trying to regain his balance. His t-shirt pressed against his throat as he was yanked backwards by the scruff of his neck. What's the best move from here? He tried to attack with his legs, but she yanked his arms. Now you decide to fight back when you're already restricted? Fight back before you're at a disadvantage. Her laughter was so intense he felt every jolt that reverberated down from her hands. Don't laugh at me, you little... It'll take more than naughty words to hurt me. Where's your phone? Why? You knew something was wrong, and yet you did nothing to prevent this situation from happening. Trust your instincts next time. Next time? Is this going to be a regular occurrence? Do you want it to be? He looked away. I think I prefer it when you ignore me. She pursed her lips. Sal, do you still have it? Do you want my number? Already have it. She raised her eyebrows. Most people would at least try to call someone, stall for time, bond with their attacker. If this was real, you'd be dead, injured, or kidnapped by now. I am injured. She chuckled. And kidnapped. Suddenly Jin's bodyguards were surrounding them, but they remained at a distance, lurking in the shadows. You had one job. He yelled at them, but no one made a move to help him. Oh no, help me, I'm outnumbered. She held up her hands and smirked. Whatever will I do? Ava's blank face barely moved in time with her words. Our apologies, Hinodes-sama. Her black hair was slicked back, her brown eyes were dull. He did not know why, but he found his eyes drawn to her, as if he was comforted by her presence. The rest of the bodyguards just seemed to fade away. Under her radiance, even Yu's flashy outfit seemed to disappear. How dare you steal my car, my clothes? You hissed. I just wanted to be free, he mumbled. We were told not to intervene. It was an order from our esteemed master and protector. So, Zala. He dropped his head onto the bonnet and sighed. You work for the enemy. I've been your bodyguard now for years. My bodyguard. Yes, your situational awareness is awful. Stop saying that to me. Even though he was furious, his voice was so weak. Relief flooded his body, but it did not take away the pain. He lifted his foot and smashed her in the jaw. Finally, you fight back. She did not even flinch. Who taught you how to kick? That was lame. He sat up. As soon as you let me go, your predicament is still precarious. She pulled an object out of her pocket and grabbed his legs. The duct tape was winding around his ankles, but he could not process what was happening. Before he knew it, it was already around his thighs. Since when does let me go sound like tie me up? You're not in control. Now what will you do? She pulled the tape and hovered it over his lips. If you fight back with your arms, they'll restrain them. Fight back with your legs, they'll restrain them. Scream and you'll be gagged. What's your next move? Firing you. How novel, she smiled. But I don't think your kidnappers will care if you fire them. He crinkled his nose and pouted. I won't gag you. She threw away the tape. It hurts when you pull it off. Well, gee, thanks. Ever thought that concrete hurts when it scrapes against your back? Your clothes are inappropriate. My clothes? Inappropriate? You gaped. Have you seen what you're wearing? Expect the unexpected, you. She turned back to Jin. If you're lucky, you'll be coming back in pieces. Lucky? That's lucky? What's unlucky then? They don't care if they hurt your feelings or break every bone in your body. Warm breath cascaded down his cheek. He searched her eyes, but it felt like he was trying to read a book in the dark. A black hole had completely swallowed up any semblance of humanity, as if a switch had been flicked. What's Hinode Way done now? Jin swallowed. It felt like all eyes were on him. His next move would be analyzed and torn to shreds. A powerful man has many enemies. Zala looked down, her eyes lingering on his heaving chest. Despite his best efforts, he could not hide his fear and anxiety. The vulnerability hurt his pride. A coward runs and hides. Her eyes abruptly changed directions. They were now staring into his soul. But the brilliant dance in the flames of another man's fear. An honest man has no enemies and nothing to fear. Everyone has something to fear. Her husky voice made Jin quiver. You grabbed Jin's thighs and threw him over his shoulder. but some choose not to fear it. Before he knew it, he was being bundled into the limousine. As Jin's mind cleared, tears welled up in his eyes. It was his guardian's car, a design that was a hideous mix of textures, prints, and colours, an object that challenged Hinodes' authority. His head started to spin. It felt like something was pulling him away from his body, and he no longer had the will to resist it. Just breathe. Someone brushed the tears off his cheek. Your enemy will use anything they can against you. Corrupt or take the voice from your lips, the air from your lungs, anything that will unnerve and unbalance you. He swallowed back the lump in his throat. Do you know the significance of this car? Why he can't banish it from his perfect life? The money spent on it, he will never be able to recoup the loss, so he keeps it. He keeps what he can't control. He turned his head away so viciously, but the tears refused to leave his eyes. Ava pulled his chin back until their eyes met and smothered his lips. He crinkled his brow. Sweet dreams. She winked at him. Finally he understood. He squeezed his eyes shut and pretended to be asleep.